You think your money is sitting in a vault, locked behind cold steel and heavy doors.
You are wrong. Since 1933, the fortress of banking has been slowly replaced by a digital illusion.
Today, your entire life savings exists as nothing more than a flicker of light on a screen, a ledger held together by a thin thread of trust. Case File 004 exposes the shocking data the elite are hiding. The vaults are empty, and the exits are closing.
The eagle sees the panic before the crowd feels the fire. The truth about your safe savings starts now.
Hidden from the world, visible to the eagle.
To understand the danger you are in today, we have to travel back to a world where the air smelled of coal smoke and desperation. The year was 1933. The Great Depression hadn't just taken people's jobs, it had stolen their souls. Across the nation, thousands of banks had simply vanished into thin air, taking every penny of life savings with them. This wasn't just a recession, it was the total extinction of trust.
Imagine the scene. Thousands of families standing in the freezing rain outside locked bronze doors, screaming for their money. But inside, only silence. This was the great banking holiday, the moment the world realized that a bank is only as strong as the promise it keeps. And in 1933, those promises were worthless. The eagle remembers, because this was the day the game changed forever.
Enter the man with the plan, Franklin D. Roosevelt. He knew that if he didn't fix the banks, the country would burn. So he sat down and signed a piece of paper that changed history, the Glass-Steagall Act. This wasn't just a law, it was a DMZ. It created a permanent border between commercial banks, the safe place for your paycheck, and investment banks, the high-stakes gamblers on Wall Street.
FDR stood before the microphones and gave his famous fireside chat. He told the people it is safer to keep your money in a reopened bank than under the mattress. He introduced the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. He promised that even if the bank failed, the government would stand behind your dollar. For 60 years, this was the golden age. You could sleep at night because the wall was standing tall.
But behind the scenes, in the mahogany boardrooms of the 1980s and 90s, a new breed of predator was growing restless. They looked at your trillions of dollars sitting uselessly in savings accounts, and they got hungry. They didn't want a wall, they wanted a bridge. They began a decade-long campaign of lobbying, which is just a polite word for legal bribery, to convince Washington that the walls were outdated.
The fatal blow came in November 1999. In a room filled with camera flashes and expensive suits, the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act was signed into law. With a stroke of a pen, the wall between your grocery money and the global casino was shattered. The architects of this law promised it would lead to innovation and efficiency, but the eagle saw it for what it really was, an invitation to the wolves. Suddenly, your local bank was no longer just a neighborly vault. It became a tentacle of a global monster. They began taking your hard-earned deposits and using them as collateral for bets so complex, even the bankers didn't understand them. They called them derivatives. I call them financial weapons of mass destruction. They turned the global economy into a house of cards, built on the foundation of your savings. This led us directly to the great betrayal of 2008. You remember the headlines: Lehman Brothers collapsing, AIG on life support. The world woke up and realized that the safe banks had been gambling with fire and the house was burning down. The system didn't just break, it revealed its true face. It revealed that when the bankers win, they keep the profit, but when they lose, you pay the bill. To stop the total collapse of civilization, the government didn't punish the gamblers. No, they gave them your money. The bailouts. Trillions of dollars were pumped into the dying hearts of the too-big-to-fail giants. They told us this was a one-time fix. They told us the system was healthy again. They lied. They didn't fix the plumbing. They just hid the leaks behind a curtain of new debt. And that brings us to the shocking reality of 2026. The rot didn't go away. It mutated. By saving the banks in 2008, they created a moral hazard that has grown into a monster. Today, the banks are more interconnected, more leveraged, and more fragile than they were during the Great Depression. The fuse was lit in 1999, and the flame has just reached the powder keg. Welcome to the modern age, where the vaults are no longer made of steel, but of silicon. We've entered the era of the digital casino, a world where billions of dollars move across the planet in the time it takes you to blink.
In the old days, if you wanted to sell a stock, a human being shouted on a floor. Today, it's handled by algorithms, ghost programs designed by physicists to hunt for a fraction of a penny, millions of times per second.
These are the high-frequency traders. They don't care about the company, they don't care about the product, and they certainly don't care about you. They only care about liquidity. They are the predators in the digital jungle, and your savings are the bait.
But here is the secret the banks won't tell you. This high-speed system is incredibly fragile. It relies on something called the repo market. Think of it as the plumbing of the entire global financial world. If the water stops flowing for even 1 hour, the entire building explodes.
In September 2019, something terrifying happened that almost nobody noticed. The repo market froze. Interest rates spiked from 2% to 10% in a matter of minutes. The banks stopped trusting each other. The plumbing was clogged.
The Federal Reserve had to jump in with an emergency injection of cash. They pumped hundreds of billions into the system just to keep the lights on. It was a silent bailout, hidden behind the noise of the news cycle. The Eagle saw it, the warning shot across the bow. Then came 2020. The world stopped, but the casino, it went into overdrive. To prevent a total meltdown, the central banks printed more money in 24 months than in the previous 200 years. They call it quantitative easing. I call it diluting the blood. When you flood the system with that much fake liquidity, you don't fix the problem. You just create a giant bubble, a bubble made of digital ink and broken dreams. Now, look at the shadow banking system. Trillions of dollars in loans and bets that happen off the balance sheets, out of sight, out of reach of the regulators. It is a parallel universe of debt, and it is currently collapsing under its own weight. Have you heard of fractional reserve banking? It means for every dollar you give the bank, they only keep a few cents. The rest, it's gone, lent out, gambled, multiplied. Your $1,000 deposit is supporting $10,000 of pure risk. If everyone walked to the bank tomorrow and asked for their cash, the doors would stay locked. Not because they don't want to give it to you, but because it does not exist. It has been digitized, leveraged, and evaporated into the cloud.
The 2026 crisis is different because it is instant. In the Great Depression, news moved by train. Today, a bank run happens on Twitter. It happens in a group chat. By the time you see the breaking news alert, the money is already gone.
We saw the preview with Silicon Valley Bank. Billions of dollars vanished in hours. No lines at the door, just fingers tapping on screens. That wasn't a fluke. It was a dress rehearsal for the main event.
The big banks are now too big to fail, but they are also too big to save. When the next domino falls, there won't be enough ink in the world to print a big enough bailout. The math simply does not work. The digital casino is closing its doors and the house is keeping the chips. You are standing on a trapdoor and the predators have their hands on the lever. So here we are, standing at the edge of the Great Reset. You've seen the history of 1933. You've seen the high-speed casino of the modern era. And now you finally see the trap. This isn't just a market cycle. The 2026 crisis isn't a mistake made by incompetent men. It is the calculated final act of a play that has been in motion for over a century. They aren't trying to fix the system anymore, my friends. They are preparing to burn it down so they can sell you the ashes. The men in the mahogany boardrooms know something you don't. The system is terminal. They know that $34 trillion in debt can never be repaid. It can only be deleted. But they won't delete the debt until they've sucked every last drop of value out of your bank account. They aren't looking to save the dollar, they are looking to replace it with something far more dangerous. Enter the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currencies. You'll see the commercial soon. They will tell you it's for your convenience. They will tell you it's faster, safer, and inclusive. But the market eagle sees the code behind the curtain. It isn't money. It is a digital leash, a programmable shackle that turns your purchasing power into a privilege granted by the state. In this new world, your money will have an expiration date. Imagine a world where your savings vanish if you don't spend them by Friday because the government decided the economy needs stimulation. Your freedom to save is the last threat to their total control. They don't want you to have a nest egg. They want you to have a subscription to survival. Imagine trying to buy a steak, but the card reader says denied, carbon limit reached. Imagine trying to donate to a cause you believe in, but the algorithm blocks the transaction because your social credit is too low.
This isn't a conspiracy theory. It is the literal blueprint currently being tested in the shadows. They want to be the gatekeeper of your every transaction.
But there is a flaw in their perfect machine, a crack in the iron ceiling that they didn't account for. Their entire plan relies on one thing: your ignorance. They need you to stay distracted by the headlines while they move the goalposts. But today, you have the data, you have the map, and a predator cannot hunt a prey that knows exactly where the trap is set.
The great wealth transfer isn't coming. It is happening right now. As we speak, trillions of dollars are quietly flowing out of the too-big-to-fail zombies and into hard assets. The smart money is moving into physical gold, into decentralized encryption, and into productive land. They are exiting the burning building while they tell you to stay in your seat and stay calm.
You have to ask yourself a hard question. If the vault is empty, why are you still standing in line? The market eagle doesn't just watch the storm from the ground. He uses the wind to fly above it. It is time for you to stop being a spectator in your own financial execution. It is time for you to find your wings.
The next 48 months will be the most significant in modern history. They will rewrite the story of the next 100 years. Your family's legacy, everything your parents and grandparents worked for, depends on one thing: your ability to see the lie before it becomes permanent. Don't wait for the emergency broadcast on your phone. By the time that alert screams, the exits will already be padlocked. The digital doors to the banks will be under maintenance. You have a narrow window of opportunity to move your life to high ground, and that window is closing second by second. Look at the bond market. It is screaming in a language most don't understand. Look at the price of gold. It is whispering the truth that the media refuses to print. The architecture of trust we built in 1933 has been systematically replaced by an architecture of control. They aren't protecting your deposits. They are protecting the system from you. You have a choice to make today. You can be the person standing in the freezing rain, like they did in 1933, begging for a crumb of what was yours. Or you can be the one who saw the clouds on the horizon and moved before the flood. There is no middle ground anymore. You are either prepared or you are a victim. The eagle is not here to give you hope. Hope is what people use when they have no plan. Hope is a gamble. I am here to give you strategy. Rule number 1, never trust a system that is mathematically designed to profit from your extinction. If the math doesn't work, the promise is a lie. Rule number 2, diversify your very existence. If your entire life, your identity, your food, your wealth is just a digital entry in a central bank's ledger, you don't own your life. You are renting it from people who hate you. You must own things that exist outside of their off switch. The predators are moving. Can you hear it? The sound of the gears turning in the dark. That is the sound of the new world financial order locking into place. It is cold, it is calculated, and it is ravenously hungry. It doesn't care about your political party or your country. It only cares about total liquidity. But the eagle has a secret they don't want you to know. The system is only powerful as long as you believe in the illusion. The moment you stop seeking their permission, the moment you exit their casino, the house loses its power over you. The exit is right there, but you have to be brave enough to walk through it. This is Case File 004. The evidence is overwhelming. The suspects are hiding in plain sight behind economic policy and global security, and the clock is already striking midnight. There are no more warnings coming. This is it. Prepare your hard assets, secure your digital sovereignty, and above all else, protect your mind. The greatest theft in 2026 won't be the money in your wallet, it will be your ability to think for yourself. If they can control your perception of reality, they don't need to lock you in a cell. You'll walk into it voluntarily. Spread the word. The eagle is watching. The truth is a fire, and once it starts in the hearts of 1,000 people, no central bank can put it out. We are the architects of the new architecture. We are the ones who survive. Stay vigilant, stay armed with the truth, and never, ever look away. My name is the Market Eagle, and the truth will set you free. Signing off.
Subscribe and join the flight. Market Eagle.